not necessarily reflect the views of Fremont Broadcasting LLC, its management, or its sponsors.
हेलो एंड गुड इवनिंग रेडियो जिंदगी लिसनर्स, सुन रहे हैं आप 1550 AM पर शो जहां पर की सॉल्यूशंस मिलते हैं, जहां पर आपको आपके प्रश्नों के उत्तर मिलते हैं. जी हाँ, यू गेट आंसर्स टू योर क्वेश्चंस एंड सॉल्यूशंस एज आई मेंशन. गेस्ट इट राइट. साकेत भाटिया एस्ट्रोलॉजी शो इज व्हाट वी आर स्टार्टिंग राइट नाउ. मेरे साथ लाइव जुड़े हैं डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया, जो कि एक वेल नोन नेम है डेफिनेटली इन द बे एरिया. एंड आप लाइव सुनते हैं उन्हें एवरी ट्यूसडे 4 to 5 PM ओनली ऑन रेडियो जिंदगी. He has earned his PhD in electrical engineering with specialization in RF microelectronics, semiconductor device physics and wireless communication. Also founder and CEO of 2 companies in the Bay Area. और उसी के साथ साथ he also has PhD in the subject of astrology. Certified numerologist भी हैं. Senior board member है at the International Association of Vedic Astrology and Numerology and is a contributing author at the Jyotish Journal. With over 25 years of experience, he can help you uncover your strength and weaknesses and true potentials. Saket ji can help you gain direction and guidance in all aspects of your life. चाहे वो career हो, finance हो, business, health, children, immigration, relationship, या कोई भी क्वेश्चन कहीं भी. इफ यू आर फीलिंग स्टक इन लाइफ, यू कैन कनेक्ट विद हिम एंड ही कैन हेल्प यू. 510-770-1550 इज द स्टूडियो लाइन नंबर. वी विल ओपन द लाइन्स इन फ्यू मिनट्स. और अगर आप डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया से डायरेक्ट कॉन्टैक्ट करना चाहते हैं आफ्टर द शो, हिज डायरेक्ट नंबर वुड बी 408-639-5300. वंस अगेन डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया को डायरेक्ट कॉन्टैक्ट करने के लिए नंबर है 408-639-5300. और यू कैन विजिट हिज वेबसाइट saketbhatia.com और या फिर ईमेल कीजिए info@saketbhatia.com पे. विद दैट चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं हमारे शो की विद द मैन हिमसेल्फ. हेलो एंड वेलकम. हाउ आर यू?
Hi Vedika, how are you doing?
वंडरफुल. हाउ हैव यू बीन?
I have been great and welcome to all the listeners of Radio Zindagi. Good evening to you all. It's good to have you back, Vedika.
Good to be back, definitely. I missed the educational part. मेरे बिना क्या क्या सिखा दिया आपने सबको.
We've only gone from houses 8 through 12.
Oh, ये तो मिस हो गया मेरा फिर. I will have to go back and see the live videos then.
We will cover it in another show.
Definitely.
So how was your trip? Good?
Trip was great. But yes, आज let's get back to our topic. आज क्या
Correct.
बात करने वाले हैं हम?
Well, there are many different topics we have to cover. देखते हैं, we'll start with what this show, I think we can do a little bit of Bhavat Bhavam if possible.
Bhavat Bhavam sounds interesting.
I
What
think-
is it?
I think Bhavat Bhavam करें तो that will be more helpful to all the listeners. Bhavat Bhavam is a concept of astrology which is house to house correlation. It is often misunderstood, underrated, and not thoroughly analyzed correctly by astrologers. So we thought Bhavat Bhavam पे बात करते हैं. Bhavat Bhavam is कैसे कहें? Like there are 12 houses in astrology, right? So you're at house number 1. You study house number 1.
Right.
But you should also study house number 1 from 1.
Yeah.
So that means you study in astrology जो 12 घर होते हैं, when we start counting we start from the house you're in. So if I'm going 2 houses from house 1, I'm not in house 3, I'm in house 2. 1 and 2.
Okay, 2 from 1.
2 from 1.
Okay.
Okay, so the starting point is also counted as a house. Same way अगर हम कहते हैं कि we want to go 3 houses from house 1, that would be house 3. If we want to go 4 houses from house 4, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So Bhavat Bhavam, basically Bhavat Bhavam ka concept is a house that is similar number of houses from a particular house will possess similar effects. Again, I'm going to repeat that. A house which is same number of house from a particular house will possess similar effects. For example, 10th house is your house of power, prestige, status that you will get in your career. The 10th from the 10th house, which is 7th house, will also show power, prestige and so on.
Okay.
Both of these must be studied.
Not
Okay.
just 10th.
Not just 10th.
10th from 10th
10th
also.
from 10th. So if you ask me, how much money am I going to make in life? I will study your second house.
Why
Correct?
second? It was 7th, right?
No, money. Money is
Acha,
second
money.
house.
Ha.
But you should also study second from second house.
Which is 5th.
No, which is
Nahi.
third. Second and third.
Oh, acha, second se second.
Second say second is
Ha, ha,
third.
ha.
The starting house is also one. If somebody says, how will my mother be? Relations with my mother, mother's health, mother's character. It is fourth house. I must also study fourth from fourth, which is seventh house.
7th house, yes.
These will give me accurate analysis of how the relationship will be or how the mother will be.
So that is Bhavat Bhavam.
That is Bhavat Bhavam.
Okay.
Ninth house is house of luck, grace, fortune. 9 from 9th is fifth house. That must also be studied. The 8th
Wow.
house is the house of death, destruction, longevity. The 8th from 8th, which is the third house, must also be studied. Because if 8th house is afflicted, third house is afflicted, we know the person will have a short life. For example, Aries ascendant.
Okay.
Let's say Aries ascendant ke 8th house mein, which happens to be Scorpio, you have a retrograde Mars. Assume, just a random thought, not related to anyone's chart. So Mars retrograde in the 8th house typically would mean death by accident.
Okay.
Now, let's assume Saturn is somewhere in the third house or Saturn is in the 9th house aspecting the third house. Immediately we can say ki 8th house bhi afflicted hai, third house bhi afflicted hai, person's going to have a short life. This is how you can conclude definitively using Bhavat Bhavam how right or wrong it's going to be for you. More analysis. 6th house is disease, injury, enemies. 6 from the 6th is 11th house, which will also relate to this factor. So agar 6th house mein there is some bad thing, 11th house there is bad, you're going to have many enemies. You'll have lots of debts. You'll have lots of problems in life. 5th house is creativity, intelligence, children, romance. 5th from 5th, 9th house will also tell you about your children.
Okay.
So if you have 5th house which has some bad aspect, 9th house which has a bad aspect, you might not have kids. You might have kids, you'll be strained away from them. So ऐसा बहुत है. 4th house relates to emotional state, happiness. 4th from 4th is 7th house. You must study this carefully. We study this carefully. We do it when you're calling us. So we can get better understanding of your chart, better understanding of you. This is the concept of Bhavat Bhavam, which is very, very important in astrology. I wish more astrologers paid attention to this.
Yeah, in fact, I was about to say that you are mentioning it as such an important rule, but still I have heard it for the first time. Like obviously मेरी knowledge तो बहुत कम है, but still कभी सुना नहीं इसके बारे में.
You have to study this. Only somebody who's not well versed or somebody who's ignorant will say it's not important. See, astrology is like an ocean, and the knowledge that humans have is like a bucket.
Still.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, because it was written as a poetry, जैसे Gita poetry जैसी लिखी थी. What is the true understanding of Gita? How much capacity do you think a normal man can understand of God saying? Nothing.
Few percent.
No,
maybe.
not even a percent.
Not even.
We only assume, we only interpret, and we listen to what we want to hear as humans.
Right.
But भगवान ने जो कहा है वो हमारे समझ में नहीं आता. Okay, no matter what you say, it's not meant for us.
जी.
We can only, same way with astrology. अगर होता तो we could know so much about our lives. There's only so much we can figure out. I mean, technically speaking, if you want a perfect chart analysis, it would take us a lifetime for that person.
Wow.
But we have less time. तो यहाँ पर जब लोग questions पूछते हैं, when will I get my job? So first thing we do is we see 10th house, we see aspects on the 10th house, lord of the 10th house, karak of the 10th house, 10th house se 10th house, which happens to be the 7th house. Then we see the dasha and we see the transits, and then we give you an answer. If we're missing out one of these, it's not going to help.
But so much you do in just one quick question. So imagine what all calculations you can do if somebody comes and meet you in person.
यही तो है, calculation is not important. Calculation तो software दिखा देता है. It is the interpretation and the analysis.
Okay.
So when you go, like I said, for blood test, calculation तो हो गई.
Percentages
Percentages
given.
are there. It is given. Now it is up to the doctor to analyze correctly and tell you what is
What that
happening.
percentage means.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that only happens with you have experience, so you have some backing behind you, some knowledge that says, yes, this is how it's done.
Right.
So I was just
Totally
creating
makes
a
sense.
chart of somebody born, let's say today.
Okay.
आज अगर कोई पैदा हो, they will have Saturn in Mool Trikon, they would have debilitated Sun, because in D9 chart, they would have an exalted Mars. The chart would be very unique. कोई अब पैदा होता, they would have Venus, Mars and Mercury conjunction in the 7th house. So they'd give lots of emphasis to their spouse. They would have a love marriage. They'd be very passionate. This is what I was just, as you were starting the show, I was trying to make that chart.
Wow, interesting.
Venus, Mars, and an Earth sign creates passion. In the 7th sign with Mercury would give lots of romance with a like-minded partner. तो ऐसे ही बैठे-बैठे चार्ट बना दी थी.
So today means any time today.
No, like right now.
Or like right now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I just opened a soft, made a
So
chart and
anybody who's listening to us, जो अभी अगर कोई आया है मेहमान इस दुनिया में, तो उनके लिए चार्ट ऑलरेडी रेडी है. सुन रहे हैं आप द साकेत भाटिया एस्ट्रोलॉजी शो एंड लाइव है डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया. एज आई मेंशन, we'll be opening lines, telephone lines now. If you have any question, any question जो आप पूछना चाहते हैं डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया को, who is an astrologer and a numerologist, तो ज़रूर कॉल कीजिए. 5107701550 इज़ द स्टूडियो लाइन नंबर. और अगर आप डायरेक्ट बात करना चाहते हैं डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया से, इन पर्सन मिलना चाहते हैं, अपॉइंटमेंट लेना चाहते हैं, तो 4086395300 इज़ द नंबर टू कॉल फॉर द अपॉइंटमेंट और ऑल द इन्फॉर्मेशन यू वांट टू हैव. और विजिट हिज वेबसाइट saketbhatia.com, या फिर ईमेल भी कर सकते हैं info@saketbhatia.com.
So if we would hope that the person who's born at this time here in the Bay Area would be a woman, because Moon Rahu in the 9th house would be very nice for a woman. For a man, it would not be so nice.
Okay.
But we can also say that they have Gulika, Mandi, Saturn, Moon, Mars, all sitting in the 4th house. So we know at age 36, something drastic in the married life is going to happen. This is just a prediction for somebody who's born today
Wow.
at about 4:19. Yeah.
It sounds magical. So we have a couple of callers waiting.
Okay.
Can we take calls?
Sure.
Hello, you're on air with Dr. Saket Bhatia.
Hello.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I wanted to actually know how the 12th house Jupiter is going to be for my son. His date of birth is 1/12/2012.
Hold on, just a little slow. So January 12th.
January 12th, 2012.
January 12th, 2012. Okay.
And 1:35 p.m. Pleasanton, California.
1335 in Pleasanton, California.
Correct.
And
He has a Vargotham sun in 8th house.
Okay.
And then I think that's aspected by Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn are also mutually aspecting each other.
Okay.
Saturn is exalted in 6th house and Jupiter is in 12th house.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them are aspecting Vargotham sun in 8th house. And he's currently running Venus Dasha, which is a 10th house Venus Dasha.
Okay.
And then that's actually having a parivartan with his 6th house exalted Saturn.
Yeah. So you seem to know a lot about astrology, which is good. The things that you should notice in your chart is you've asked specifically only for how would Jupiter be in the 12th house, right?
Correct.
You want a spiritual answer, creative answer, generosity answer. क्या चाहिए आपको? Because
Okay, I just want to know what his career is going to be, because I think his Vargotham sun is going to be operational between 20 and 26 years of age.
correct. But remember one
Oh.
thing: the Vargotham sun is still sitting. Sun is still sitting in a difficult 8th house, right?
Correct.
Don't forget that. That is one issue. Secondly, Sun sits in the house of Sagittarius, which is still run by Jupiter. Jupiter is in the 12th and Gulika Mandi are in the 11th house. Gulika Mandi typically have a very benign effect in the 11th house. So they're good planets. But they will still carry some negative energy with them to Sun. So don't be surprised if something not so favorable happens during Sun Jupiter Dasha. Sun Rahu, that combination of Sun Mars, that he has, it will do very well for him. Moon, you should worry more about the moon in the 4th house because the Karak is sitting in its own house, na?
Okay.
So things to take into consideration: one, the Karak sits in its own house, one, and second, ascendant Lord Venus is sitting. Do you think Venus makes any yoga in this chart? Let's start with that.
Yeah, I think Venus is in 10th house,
Correct?
so that will decide the profession.
No, it does not. Venus typically in the 10th house, uski jo sthan bal hai, that has changed, right? We'll always like Venus to be in the 4th house, correct? So the International Association came up with this rule many decades ago that if a planet is sitting in the opposite house from where it should be, any yogs that would be formed will become meaningless, unfortunately. So be very careful about that. Career is determined by the 1st house. The level of fame that you will see is determined by the 10th. You want to know what career your son will do? Here is a tip. Look at the 10th house. Look at the Lord of the 10th house. See where the Lord of the 10th house is placed in the Navamsh. Do that exact same thing from the ascendant, sun and moon. You will get a correlation of what your son's career is going to be. For example, in your son's chart, ascendant Lord Venus sits in the house of Saturn. Saturn is sitting in the house of Mars, which is pointing to surgery, engineering. But he's sitting with Venus and Saturn too. Do the exact same exercise with all the planets. Make a map. You'll come to know what your son is going to do.
Okay.
Good luck to you. But by the way, Jupiter in the 12th house in your son's case denotes two things from experience. One, skill set at an early age in life, and two, very charitable person. Okay? Good luck with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your call, listeners, if you're listening to us. And if you also have a question, definitely call Kiji. Dr. Saket Bhatia is live with us. 510-770-1550. That's the studio line number. If you have any question regarding astrology or numerology, do give us a call, 510-770-1550. Or call Dr. Saket Bhatia directly after the show, 408-639-5300 pe. You must be really happy. Somebody who knows the things, that's what you want to do. You want to educate the Bay Area.
I want to educate so people can at least open up their charts. Look at this person. His son is young, but at least he's doing the right things because they can.
Right.
There are two ways to analyze this. One, you do nothing about it. You do nothing, aapki life chalti rahegi. You're still going to have missed opportunities. You're still going to get opportunities which you did get in life. There'll be happy moments, there'll be sorrowful moments, but life will be full of surprises. Okay, that is one approach. The second approach is go to somebody who knows what you're supposed to do, who can guide you. We're not saying we're giving you all the opportunities in life, but at least we can help you. We can prepare you for what is coming. So surprises kam ho jati hain. You can take benefit of this knowledge and use it to your advantage so you can grow. Yahi humko karna hai. That's what we want to do for you. Right?
Sure. Can we take another caller?
Sure.
Hello, you're on air with Dr. Saket Bhatia.
हेलो
Hello.
साकिब, मेरा नाम राजेश है और मेरा डेट ऑफ बर्थ है 22 अप्रैल 1984. मेरा प्लेस ऑफ बर्थ है पाली मारवाड़ और टाइम है 5 PM.
Time hai 5 PM. And where is Marwad?
So it's in Rajasthan.
Vedika is very happy. You should see the smile on her face when people call from Rajasthan.
Yeah, very few people are here, so
See,
that's
he understands.
Which
Yeah.
city was it again? Pali.
Pali, yeah.
Pali.
Acha.
Yeah, it's very near to Jodhpur, which is most people know Jodhpur, but
Correct. So
Yeah.
I have your chart. You're a Virgo ascendant, okay? You're a Virgo ascendant, and you have retrograde Mars, retrograde Mercury, retrograde Saturn. Don't think too much into that. Just forget it. Just think of what I said. You have exalted Saturn, exalted Venus. You have Jupiter and Mars sitting in its own house. So this makes it a very good chart. You have an exalted Sun also. ये अच्छी
Okay.
chart है. Navam's chart में Sun is again exalted in Aries. No, sorry, Saturn is in Aries. So Saturn जो आपका exalted था, वो debilitate हो जाता है Aries में.
अच्छा.
Mercury is in its own house. Mars जो था in its own house that becomes retrograde and debilitated in Cancer. But again, don't think too much into what I'm saying. I'm just trying to read your chart. Now we can go back. What is your question?
तो मेरा क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा मैं आपको यह है कि हम लोग एक जगह पे रहते हैं, 5 साल से इस घर में रह रहे हैं और वो घर अभी हमें छोटा लग रहा है. तो हम लोगों ने बहुत बार सोचा कि हम इसको थोड़ा सा बड़ा करें, पर हम लोग कभी उसको प्रोसेस पूरा नहीं कर पाते हैं और हमको लग भी रहा है जितना भी हम इनपुट ले रहे हैं कि बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है. तो हम लोगों को दूसरा ऑप्शन हमने ये सोचा कि थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेच मारे फाइनेंशियली और थोड़ा बहुत करके सेकंड हाउस ले ले. बट अगेन विथ ऑल दिस अनसर्टेनिटीज अराउंड, अभी हमें ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि हमें क्या फाइनेंशियली क्या डिसीजन लेना चाहिए और हमारी पत्रिका में क्या हमें डायरेक्शन सजेस्ट करिए कि मेरा परमानेंट एड्रेस आपको चेंज दिख रहा है कि मुझे इसी घर में अपडेट करके ज्यादा आगे प्रॉस्पेरिटी मिलेगी. तो वो उस हिसाब से मुझे थोड़ा सा गाइडेंस चाहिए था.
तो देखिए, a benefic planet like Jupiter, which owns only 2 benefic houses, 4, 7 and 10, will lose its benefic properties. However, since that house happens to sit in the 4th house, which happens to be the sign of Sagittarius, it will help that house. It will make that house prosper. You can do better. अभी Jupiter की दशा चल रही है, which is good. Jupiter property में बैठा है. You have till September of 2024 to make that jump. You should be able to buy a new house. The reason I'm saying is because राहु जो है वो आपके 9th house में बैठा है, वो भी exalted है, correct? And you don't have any bad aspects on the house of property. So अगर मैं होता and property का lord कौन होता है? Saturn. Right?
Okay.
Saturn is property. Saturn sits in your 2nd house. इस कुंडली के लिए Saturn is a good planet. Granted, he's not the best, but he's a good planet. आपका Venus exalted है. My suggestion, don't expand. Go buy a better house. Go buy a bigger house. It will help you.
और आपको ऐसे कुंडली में ऐसे कुछ दिख रहा है कि फ्यूचर में प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है? बिकॉज जो हम लोग जॉब
Sir, I would like to request you that there are callers waiting in line. You can just ask one question. Sorry about that.
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर गाइडेंस.
No problem.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question. अगर आप बात करना चाहते हैं डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया से आफ्टर द शो, his direct number is 4086395300. So, can we take another call?
आप पूछते रहते हो, मैं हाँ बोलते रहता हूँ. I have never said no.
मैं बिना पूछे नहीं लेती. Hello, you're on air with Dr. Saket
Yes.
Bhatia.
Yes, so do you want name or date of birth?
Actually, I want both. It will help me. I know how to address you then.
Okay, so the name is Prem and date of birth is 12/22/1997.
December 22, 1997.
Yes, the question is that how is his career going to be?
What is his time of birth?
Time is 7 a.m.
You're sure about that? Because you hesitated. And
Yes.
what is the place of birth?
Yes. Place of birth is Mountain View, California.
Mountain View, California. Hold on. Mountain View, California. So this is for Prem, December 22nd, 1997 in Mountain View, California, right?
Right,
And
right.
question क्या है? How will his career be?
Yeah, I mean, he should keep working in this job, or is he going to progress, or should he change his job?
So what is he doing right now?
Well, he's working.
नहीं, क्या कर रहे हैं? What does he do?
He works in the testing computers.
Testing computers. देखिए, when we study career, we must always focus on the 10th house to see the level of fame or something he'll get. He has a very strong moon. His moon is in a good friend sign. Navam's chart में जो moon है वो exalted है Taurus में. So I think this person has a good career ahead of them. The fact that they have Mars, Venus, Jupiter, 3 strong planets. Mars in this kundli is very strong. Jupiter is the ascendant. Venus is the house of gains. वो चला गया है पैसे के घर में. Money shortage नहीं रहेगी आपको. अब दशा चल रही है राहु की. Rahu, Venus. For this kundli, Rahu is going to act like Saturn and act like Sun, which is in the ascendant lord. He should start his own company or his own business at some point of time in the future. This is not somebody who should just work for someone. He'll make more money. I'm not saying he's going to make a killing. No, this is a good chart. गली का 9th में बैठ गया वो प्रॉब्लम देता है. I would advise do not change your career yet. Stick to it. The earliest you
Okay.
should switch is sometime
Okay.
in December of 2025. But if you haven't started something, plan on starting something. There's nothing wrong. It's a good chart.
Okay. Thank you. I can ask another one? No.
Ma'am, there is a caller waiting. It won't be fair
Okay,
to the other
okay.
callers. Thank you so much for understanding.
Is this every Tuesday at 4:00?
Yes, it's every Tuesday 4 o'clock. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
So listeners, आप सुन रहे हैं द साकेत भाटिया एस्ट्रोलॉजी शो एंड अभी आप बात कर सकते हैं. ऑब्वियसली यू कैन आस्क, बट एज वी हैव मेंशन अगेन, इट्स जस्ट वन क्वेश्चन रेस्ट्रिक्शन. बट आप शो के बाद डायरेक्टली कॉल कीजिए डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया को and then you can talk to him and definitely ask more than one question. 408-639-5300 पे कॉल करके आप अपॉइंटमेंट ले सकते हैं, मिल सकते हैं डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया से. saketbhatia.com वेबसाइट के थ्रू यू कैन गेट ऑल द इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट हिज ऑफिस लोकेशन, अबाउट हिज कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स, एवरीथिंग. और डू email him if you have any particular question. info@saketbhatia.com. Another caller waiting.
उसके बाद I'll talk about negation. This is
Sure.
very interesting.
Sure. Hello, you're live on air with Dr. Saket Bhatia.
जी थैंक यू. नमस्ते साकेत जी.
Namaste. How are you?
आई एम डूइंग गुड. हाउ अबाउट यू?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. What's your name?
मेरा नाम प्राची है.
Hi Prachi. And what is this question for you or for somebody else?
फॉर माई सेल्फ.
Acha. And date of birth?
मेरा December 16th 1984.
We're getting everybody from December this time. This 1984.
यस, December 16 1984. रात के 2 बजे 2 AM इन नागपुर, महाराष्ट्र.
Okay. Nagpur is a nice place. I've been there many times.
दैट्स रियली गुड टू नो.
So Maharashtra, Nagpur. Okay. December 16 2 AM. Question क्या है आपका?
Yes. जी साकेत जी, मुझे ना ये पता करना था. मेरा सवाल पहले के कॉलर से सिमिलर है, घर से रिलेटेड, कि हमें बड़ा घर चाहिए पर हो नहीं पा रहा है कुछ रीजन से. तो अभी ऐसा लग रहा है कि क्या मैं बड़ा घर बाय करने भी जाऊं विद कीपिंग द एग्जिस्टिंग वन, बट कैन फाइनेंशियली वेदर माय फाइनेंसेस विल बी सपोर्टिंग दैट न्यू बाय इन दिस डिफिकल्ट मार्केट.
देखिए, again, the person who called before you and your charts are actually very similar in the fact कि उनका Saturn retrograde था second house में, आपका Saturn second में बैठा है, retrograde नहीं है. उनका जुपिटर बैठा था फोर्थ में, आपका भी फोर्थ हाउस में बैठा है. जुपिटर सिटिंग इन इट्स ओन हाउस. घर तो बड़ा देके जाएगा. अनडाउटेडली ही इज गोइंग टू गिव यू अ बिग हाउस. दैट इज नॉट द प्रॉब्लम. द हाउस लॉर्ड विच इज वीनस इज एक्सचेंज प्लेसेस विद सैटर्न. सो यू हैव अ परिवर्तन योग ऑफ मनी एंड लक. आई वुड से गो फॉर इट. अभी दशा भी चल रही है जुपिटर की. बिटवीन नाउ एंड 2025 February you can actually go buy a house. There is no stopping. ले लो, लेना है तो.
फाइनेंशियली साकेत जी लॉन्ग टर्म में फाइनेंसेस सपोर्ट कर पाएंगे क्या? दैट इज द मेन क्वेश्चन आई हैव इन माइंड. आई डू नॉट वांट टू एंड अप बाइंग एंड देन रिग्रेटिंग व्हाई आई बॉट बिकॉज आई लॉस्ट माय जॉब और समथिंग हैपेंड.
See, you have no problem. Jupiter dasha will not cause problem. Jupiter Saturn dasha will not cause problem. इसके बाद Jupiter Mercury dasha which comes in 2027 will cause you some problem. Not career problem but could cause you some problem in general because Mercury Jupiter 12 घर दूर है. Mercury आपका retrograde भी है and Mercury आपका combust नहीं, Mercury आपका debilitated है. So you will have some financial problem 27 to 29 undoubtedly. वो तो होगा आपको. So you have to now make the decision कि पता है ना आपको 2 साल आपको थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होगा फाइनेंसेस का, बट 4 साल ठीक है. तो try capitalizing on these 4 years. Or say, I want to play it safe. You can also call me separately. We can analyze day by day, month by month and see what the right thing for you to do is.
Sure. Thank you very much, Saket ji.
No problem. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर कॉल. अगर आप बात करना चाहते हैं डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया से तो डू कॉल हिम 408-639-5300 पे. जी, सो वी आर गोना टॉक अबाउट नेगेशन.
Negation important है. It's often misunderstood and not done at all. I'll explain why. देखिए, भवत भवम में तो हमने कहा था कि हाउस टू हाउस इज इम्पोर्टेंट. फोर्थ हाउस टू फोर्थ, तो मदर विल बी फोर्थ एंड सेवेंथ. बच्चे फिफ्थ है, फिफ्थ टू फिफ्थ इज नाइन्थ. वो इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है. बट व्हाट इज नेगेशन? I'll explain. I took some good notes on this. Let's assume we know 12th house is house of loss, right? So 9th house हमें पता है is the house of luck. How do you negate luck? 12 houses away from 9th. 12th in general means loss.
Yeah.
ninth is, let's say, luck. So 12 houses away from the 9th house, which is 8th house, will represent bad luck. It will represent dishonor. It will represent losses. 7th house relationship hai. 12th house away from the 7th is 6th.
Okay.
It will represent loss of relationship.
Oh.
5th house बच्चे हैं. 12 houses away represents loss of children. When we hear कि किसी के बच्चा पैदा हुआ है but death हो गई या कुछ हुआ for the child, that's called negation. 12 houses away. It has to be studied. But that principle of negation can also be used for negative houses. 6th is what? Lawsuits, enemies, debts. Negation of debt is 5th house.
That is good.
So that is good. So that brings another concept into mind now. If you're facing lots of problems in life, debt-wise, how do you fix it? You make your 5th house stronger. You negate the effect of the debt.
Oh.
If your health
That
is
could
bad,
be a solution.
if let's say आपकी life थोड़ी short है, 8th house, how do you negate that? Make your 7th house stronger. Do you understand how this works now?
Okay.
So in astrology, it's not always about आपका ये घर strong करना है, आपका ये planet strong करना है. Think out of the box. Learn to make the negative aspect on that particular house less, so the positive aspects go up.
Wow.
I had a
That's
very
technical.
I had a very interesting challenge 2 weeks ago where somebody came in and said, "This is my chart. I'm here to sell my business. I'm here to sell my company." Now we know 11th house is house of gains.
Yeah.
हम generally 11th house को नहीं बढ़ाते, दशा भी नहीं थी 11th lord की. So how do we make sure he sells his company in the right way? There is something called boosting planets.
Okay.
Planets give aspects to other houses. Planets give aspects to other planets. If you boost certain planets, they will actually boost other planets and other houses. So you can, you can help one thing to give better results in the other.
और अगर कुछ बैड है तो उसका इफेक्ट लोअर डाउन करो.
You can do that. You can do that. For example, अगर आपकी कुंडली में एक खराब planet है which is causing destruction, you can make a good planet stronger, so that planet becomes weaker. But don't expect the benefits of the stronger planet to be even stronger, because it's like putting concrete on a brick wall. It won't help you, right?
It'll lower down the effect.
It will lower the effect of the negative planet, but the benefic planet will not give you much benefit.
Yeah,
and next
right.
time हम बात करेंगे what benefic and malefic means, because बहुत लोग use कर लेते हैं without understanding ये benefic है, ये malefic. What does it mean? The right word should be functional benefic and functional malefic.
Okay.
वो सिखाते हैं next time.
Definitely. So अभी like जो आप भवत भवम की बात कर रहे थे, so like how can we use it in, as you said कि हमें दोनों aspect देखने चाहिए. So शुरुआत कहाँ से करनी चाहिए? What is the correct way to use it in explaining something or seeing any aspect in life?
You always start with a certain house, and then you see that particular house from the house quantity away. And the right way to analyze it would be, you would also have to see the chart from the sun and the moon. You would have to study the karak, you would have to study the house lord.
तो वो सारा तो दिमाग में रखना ही है, उसके साथ एडिशनली ये भी है.
वो automatically आ जाता है. See, you asked me many weeks ago, karak क्या होता है?
Right.
Karak is a producer. House जो होता है वो birth देता है, और जो house lord होता है, house lord actually gives birth, and house is what you'll enjoy. So let's think how this works.
Okay.
आप चल रहे हो and somebody walks by you and gives you a seed for a plant. That seed he gave you is the karak.
Okay.
Okay, if you had not met that person, वो seed आपको मिलती नहीं. Now you take that seed and you go home and you plant it. आपने जहाँ plant किया पौधे में, that happens to be the house lord. Now that plant is growing, you're enjoying it, that happens to be your house.
Okay.
There are three aspects. If the producer karak is weak, that element will not happen in your life, period. अभी जैसे हमने कहा भवत भवम में we study house to house. Same way for karak we must study karak to house. It's very confusing. अगर आपको बच्चे देखने हैं कैसा है, किसी के बच्चे नहीं हो रहे, we study 5th house. We study 5th lord, which is the owner of the house. We should study karak Jupiter.
Okay.
We should also study 5th from 5th house.
From 5th, हाँ.
You must also study 5th from Jupiter.
अच्छा,
जहाँ भी Jupiter बैठा है,
उससे भी
5th पढ़ना चाहिए.
Wow.
And this exercise has to be repeated from the sun, the moon and the ascendant. ये सब नहीं करोगे तो you're not going to get a right result.
Okay, but that is pretty elaborate. Like
Why?
so many aspects, so many
No, it is just
concepts.
like your job.
For you, 25 years of practice, you can say it's
But
easy.
it's just like your job. You have to move the things up and down. Same way we also have to move things up and down.
So
we also get an idea.
we cannot compare two jobs. बस yes, listeners expert हैं यहाँ पर जिनसे आप बात कर सकते हैं और he is an expert when it comes to astrology, when it comes to numerology. So do get connected with him. Do get benefited by his guidance. 4086395300 नंबर है डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया को डायरेक्टली कांटेक्ट करने के लिए. वेबसाइट है उनकी saketbhatia.com. लाइव सुनते हैं आप उन्हें एवरी ट्यूसडे 4 to 5 PM. And if you have any particular question, do write to him info@saketbhatia.com. So after that, आपकी ओपिनियन में कौन सा सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट हाउस है फॉर भवत भवम?
So I went and thought this over कि हम भवत भवम तो पढ़ते हैं, हम भवत भवम की बात करते हैं, but what are important भवत भवम houses? And I came to the conclusion house 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and 11 are the important ones. That's it.
Even numbers.
Odd numbers.
Odd number, sorry.
Yeah. Why? First house is your personality. First house is the first house itself. Right? So Bhavat Bhavam is very important for the first house. Satwa ghar is the first house. So for you and for the partner you choose, the most important thing is you.
You.
What does that mean? Life में अपने आप को ठीक कीजिए.
Okay.
Learn to improve yourself, you'll get a good partner. Learn to stop finding the flaws in your partner, you will become better yourself. That's what it is trying to tell you. Stop looking for things that you want. Improve what you can do yourself so you can offer yourself to your partner. You'll both be happier. The importance of partnership, spouse, and companionship are completely linked to your own personality. अगर आपकी personality अच्छी है तो partner अच्छा मिलेगा. अगर आपकी personality खराब है, then you will automatically ruin your partner's personality also, and then it takes time to work on the two things. It is a misconception that 7th house represents wife. It is a misconception it represents husband. 7th represents a mirror image of you.
Okay.
Right?
And that's a beautiful thought. Absolutely.
The
Work on yourself if you want some change in life.
Absolutely. You are the only person who can change you. I can tell you what you need to do. I can give you guidance. If you listen, you will go a long way. You will be successful. You will do well. But who? You.
Absolutely.
You have to make the change. Now let's study third house. Third house क्या था? Younger siblings. Formal education नहीं, but उससे पहले जो high school होता है वो courage. Social friend circle. It is also second from second house.
Yeah.
It is also 8th from 8th house.
Okay.
Now second house is wealth. Third house is social, siblings. अगर आपका third house अच्छा है, you have good relation with your siblings, you have good relations with your friends, you'll be able to make more money in life. You'll do better business.
Okay.
Correct? Hopefully. 8th house is inheritance. 8th house is death. And third house is also related to that. 8th se 8th. So if you study, having good placement in the 8th house will automatically also have good placement in third. Life lambi rahegi aapki. If you have bad aspects, bad friends, stress from family,
You'll have a
difficult time in
Yes.
life. 5th house is creativity, intelligence, right? But it is also from the 9th house. 9th house is the 5th house.
9th se 9th.
9th se 9th is 5th. Also third se 3rd is 5th. So this is another correlation.
Wow.
Right? So this is the foundation of your life. And finally 7th house, जो partnership का होता है. It is Bhavat Bhavam for the 4th house, which is for your mother, which is emotions, which is happiness. Right? And it is also these houses that combine everything and make you the person you are. 9th house is Bhavat Bhavam for 5th and 11th house. Auspiciousness of 9th, creativity. So 5th is creativity. 5th from 5th is 9 means creativity of creativity.
Okay.
If you're a genius, you'll see a very strong aspect on the 9th house.
Okay.
You want to win a lottery, you must have strong influences on the 9th house. See the difference. I said influence on the 9th house versus strong 9th house. And then there is a 9th house lord. Right? 9th is all your seniors, the ones who have been there before. देखिए astrology में 12th house is, there are 3 houses, 5, 9 and 12 that are important. 5th house जो आपने पिछले जन्म में कर्म किए हैं, those boons you will get in this life. That is 5th house.
Right.
12th house will show the state of life after you're gone.
Spirituality.
And the ninth house shows this life, how it's come.
Present.
So this all connected. And finally we have 11th house, which is the house of gains. You meet, it is Bhavat Bhavam for the 6th house and Bhavat Bhavam for the 12th house. 6 से 6 11 होता है, 12 से 12 11 होता है. So this is also, this will actually add to your gains.
Okay.
Because it's negation of the 12th house, na? House of loss, house of expense.
Right.
12th house is not loss. It is also expenditure. It is also expenses.
So, but that is a kind of loss.
But depends. Some people, you have an old car. I gave you an example last time.
Yeah.
अगर आपने पुरानी गाड़ी चलानी है for 30, 40, 50 years, you don't want to give up on it, then you have a strong 12th house which doesn't make you give up on things easily.
Right.
Sometimes, like lady called, she said, I want to buy a new house. That's an expense. You'll have to buy a house. So that's a good expense.
Yeah.
You're improving your life.
Yeah.
12th house होना चाहिए. 12th house में अगर Venus आ जाता है, it gives luxuries.
Okay.
Saturn might mean depression. Moon might mean moodiness. Might. It all depends. We have to study these different things on how it is. Jupiter in general, you could be qualified at a young age. You could be very charming personality, or you could also be, very charitable in life. These are typical trends of a planet placed in a house. Now, one thing I must say, I hear many times astrologers say, आपका first lord 8th में बैठा है, आपका 6th lord 7th में बैठा है. Important means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I'll explain why. The assumption is if your first lord is sitting in the 6th, you will defeat your enemies.
Okay.
Because ascendant बैठ गया. But degree क्या है?
Oh.
What if the ascendant is sitting at 1 degree
Then it does not mean
and the
anything.
ascendant itself is at 29? You will defeat. But after years and years and years of fighting, what is it worth? Nothing.
Yeah.
What is the dignity of the planet? These are important. If you don't know that, you're not going to get anywhere.
Right. And with each example, this Bhavat Bhavam is making so much sense now, like all the effects and how it is a complete cycle, all the correlations between planets and houses. So yeah, that's really interesting. So after that, I would like to know about, like, होता है ना life में that everyone has delays in their life. So astrology में कैसे predict करते हैं अगर वो delay हो तो?
Generally, most astrologers don't know what delaying planets are. I have heard so many radio shows across the country, internationally, they don't talk about separative planets. I want to talk about two aspects. One is called delaying factor and one is called separating factor. Saturn, Rahu and Lord of the 6th, जो छठे घर का मालिक है, these three are considered to be delaying planets. They will delay the house they sit in or the house they aspect. Okay. If Saturn and Rahu are in good dignity, dignity means happiness of a planet.
Okay.
If they are in good
So not degree.
No, dignity.
So, okay. So then how would you define dignity?
Degree तो आप समझते हो, it's only from 0 to 30.
Yeah.
For dignity, the rule is little more complicated. A planet should sit in a house. So first you see जो planet जिस घर में बैठा है, is he friends or is he enemies with the lord of that house?
The nature, yeah.
First. Second, how far is he sitting from that other planet who owns that house? If he's sitting very close, it's considered friendship. If he's sitting far, it's considered enemy. And if the natural relationship is friend or enemy, you add them and then you say the dignity.
Okay.
Is he in good dignity, neutral dignity, bad dignity? Generally, planets sitting in their own house are considered best. Exaltation is not considered best. Exaltation is like I take you and I put you, like for example, you were on vacation, right? Let's assume you're staying in a hotel. You like staying in a hotel. You can't stay there indefinitely.
Yeah,
you
of
get
course.
bored.
Yeah.
So exalted planets जो होते हैं, they give good results for a short period of time and then they stop. But planet in its own house, wonderful results.
Yes.
So dignity is own house, mool trikon, enemy, great enemy. So when planets are in good dignity, strong dignity, they will cause delays and give you. But when planets are in negative dignity, the delay will be longer. This is important when you want to buy property, when you want to start your business, when you want to have kids, when you want to get married.
The callers who had the concern about buying a property, definitely. So then, what about, you said, like there was this delaying thing and then there was separation.
Separative अलग हो जाता है.
Okay.
Delaying means delay. The key word in delaying means you will get it after some time. कब होगा वो पता चल जाएगा. Separating means you already have it and you will be separated from it.
You lose it.
You will lose it.
Okay.
So delay could also mean denial in one way, because delay, if it's indefinite, you're not going to get. Let's assume you have Saturn, Rahu, and Lord of the Sixth all aspecting your fifth house, which is house of children, and they're all in horrible dignity, and the fifth house and the fifth Lord are completely damaged. You're not going to have kids. नहीं हो सकते. बच्चे नहीं होंगे आपके. Okay. So in that case, we tell you go adopt.
Adopt. Yes.
Okay. That is one choice. Now, separative planet is a concept where Sun, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, and Lord of the 12th. When two or more of these planets aspect a house, a Lord, and the Karak from both the ascendant and the Sun, separation is likely.
Okay.
So, the worse the dignity, the worse the separation. Sometimes separation can simply mean the kids are not going to stay with the parents.
Okay.
अगर dignity बहुत ही खराब है, it could mean loss of the child.
Okay.
Right? I'm giving you examples. So partners, sometimes one partner says, I want to go overseas for schooling. They go, then they start working, then they say, let me wait for H1, let me get a green card. 5 साल हो गए, 10 साल हो गए, the other partner is staying separate. I'm not saying they're staying. They can come, they can visit, but they're not together.
Yeah.
That is called separative planet. ये separative planet में भी हमें dignity देखनी पड़ती है. Is it going to be a temporary separation or a lifelong separation?
Right. Makes
Right?
sense.
The worse the dignity of these planets, the worse the separation. ये बहुत ही detailed है. It takes us time. Saturn in a great friend's Rashi, Rahu in the Rashi of Mercury are not considered to be very separating planets. They will give separation, but not so much. They will eventually unify you. Otherwise, there could be a problem.
Right. So we have around like 4 more minutes in the show. The next thing which comes to my mind, which you just mentioned, was the strength of house, which sounds like a very important thing. So can we talk about that, or should we take it in next episode?
Strength of house, अभी बात कर लेते हैं. We won't keep it very long. Strength of a house is going to give you something it represents. One house can be many things. So like fifth house is children, creative intelligence, speculation in the stock market, advice you give others, and romance. Now everybody can't get everything. You can't tell me the person who has kids also has big investment in stocks, gives advice to people that had many romances. ऐसा नहीं होता.
जी.
There's some factor
Few
which
of
is
these
there.
things,
Yes.
yeah.
So the significance of a house will improve during the planetary period, which is dasha, of the planet which is associated with them. तो अगर आपके घर में जो planet बैठा है, या जो planet उसको aspect कर रहा है, या उसका जो lord है, उसकी दशा में the significance, positive or negative, will improve or decrease.
The effect.
If you want to study a house carefully and you don't want to go through this Bhavat Bhavam, you don't want to go through dignity, you don't want to go through all that, then just do a favor. First look at that house. Study that house in detail. उस घर के कौन से planets बैठे हैं. How is the Lord placed? How is the Karak placed? And the influences on that house. आप ये पढ़ लो, you will automatically get an idea of that house is safe or not safe. Sometimes if the house lord is weak, that house becomes vulnerable. Then it cannot be saved. Then any negative aspect will start hurting it. That's when destruction starts coming in.
और अगर ये सब नहीं करके और आपको सारा कुछ कंसिडर करना है, all the Bhavat Bhavam and everything, so then do approach Dr. Saket Bhatia, who is an expert with 25 years of experience and more than 12,000 plus satisfied clients. Do contact him for all your astrological and numerology related needs. 408-639-5300 Dr. Saket Bhatia को directly call करने के लिए number है. Once again, it's 408-639-5300. You can connect with his website, which is saketbhatia.com, or do write to him, info@saketbhatia.com. With that, we have around 2 more minutes. Would you like to wrap it up?
Yeah, I would like to. I wanted to talk about something called Guli Ka Mandi.
Yes.
उसका टाइम तो मिलेगा नहीं.
Yes, that's important topic. We should take it next week.
नहीं, मुझे गुली का मंडी पे छोटा सा ही बात करना है. I only want to talk 5 minutes on it.
Okay.
Because it's not going to be understood very well by people. उसके ऊपर किताबें भी बहुत कम हैं. The rules are very basic on it. People don't get it. It's
But
not
it sounds interesting.
That's why I always ask the listeners on radio, are you born on a Sunday? Monday, I check that out because that controls your Guli Ka Mandi. Life देखिए आपकी life है. You have to learn to live your life your way. Nobody's life is smooth sailing. Challenges होते हैं. Ups होते हैं, downs होते हैं. There is no such thing as the best time of our life has come and gone. The best time could be just ahead of you. You don't know. Learn to be optimistic. Learn to be happy. Learn to cherish those people that are around you. Value your family. They are strong. Value yourself. अपने आप को थोड़ा strong बनाइए. Be more capable. Life में जो होता है, there's always a reason.
True.
Your karmas determine everything. Okay, so be good in this life. Hopefully you'll have a better life future.
Wonderful reminder. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for being on air with us. And sorry to all the callers who were trying to call us. अगर हम आपका कॉल इस वीक नहीं ले पाए, do try next Tuesday. And if not, तो आप डॉक्टर साकेत भाटिया से कभी भी कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. 408-639-5300 his direct number. We'll see you next Tuesday. Till then, आप सुनते रहिए रेडियो जिंदगी. जिए जाओ.
Listening to Radio Zindagi, KZDG 1550 AM